this lesson, we're going to go over maintaining worksheets. So in previous lessons, we've learned how to navigate in Excel, how to enter data, how to do formulas and functions, how to format that data. So we need to briefly go over some of the mechanics of managing and maintaining your worksheets within the spreadsheet program. Any Excel worksheet that you create can easily become overwhelming because there's so much information contained in it. For that reason, it's important to learn how to maintain your worksheets to help you keep on top of all that information. Using Zoom. If you're using a small screen or even extremely large screen with a very fine resolution, to view the data in the spreadsheet, it can get hard to see. That's why there is a zoom feature in Excel. You can zoom in on a certain area or even a specific cell. There are a few ways to use the zoom tool in Excel. The first is located at the bottom right side of your screen. So if we wanted to zoom in real quick to the spreadsheet, we could just do it this way. We can also enter a specific zoom. If its selection is 1, we could do 25%, which is very tiny, or we could go to normal, which is 100%. The zoom feature is also located on the ribbon. To use the zoom function on the ribbon, you would click on the View tab, and then you would go to the Zoom group, which is right here. Now here, it brings up the same dialog box as it brings up down here. So let's say we're going to zoom out to 25%. Rather than to pull up this and select 100% again, a quick way to get back to normal view is just to hit the 100% button in the Zoom group. The other feature that's really useful is the quick action icon here for zoom to selection. So we can highlight a selection here, and then if we go to zoom to selection, it'll go right to that selection. If we click on popcorn here and hit zoom to selection, it'll go right to that selection. And again, to get out of here, we just go to normal view, which is 100%. Views. You can also take advantage of Excel's different worksheet views to view your data. The views are located to the left of the zoom feature at the bottom right-hand side of your window, which is right here. The first view on the left is the normal view. The next icon here next to the normal view is the page layout view. So this is the page layout view, if you can see this. Oops. Let's zoom that out a little bit so you can get an idea of what page layout view looks like. The third option here is the page break view, which is right here, page break view. And if we click on that, this is what we see. If you're getting ready to print pages or want to see how the layout looks, using these different views can help tremendously. Okay, now let's go back to normal view. Research. You can use the Research task pane to search for information online using sources such as Bing, the Encarta Dictionary, a thesaurus, and other sources. This can be helpful when you need to do research to complete a worksheet. To use the Research task pane, go to the Review tab and click the Research button in the proofing group. So let's go to Review and let's go to Research. Ooh, comes up here to the right. Next, type what you want to research in the Search For box. Then choose where you want to search for it in the next section. You can choose to look at all reference books, which will search all dictionaries and thesauruses that it has to use. Or you can choose all reference sites, which includes Bing. Working with multiple worksheets. It's possible you might create a workbook that contains dozens of worksheets. Let's say, for example, that you create a workbook that contains expense reports for employees. Each employee might have their own worksheet in the workbook. If you have 24 employees, then you have a lot of worksheets to keep track of and maintain. That in itself may not be a big deal, but finding the worksheet when you need it can be tricky. For this reason, you can have dozens of worksheets within a workbook, but you can also create workbooks for individual worksheets. That way, the data is easily accessible when you need it. Navigating between worksheets. Again, if you have a lot of worksheets, navigating between them can be tricky. Plus, not all the sheets show at the bottom left-hand side of your page. To easily navigate between sheets, right-click on the tab scroll to the left of your worksheets. So here we have 3 worksheets, and we can certainly create a few more. And so far we've created 8 worksheets here, most of them blank. We can use these arrows here to shift through each of these worksheets. Or we can right-click here, and it gives us this option where it shows, which all the worksheets in our workbook, and we can just click on any one of these, say, OK, activate sheet 3, and it goes right to sheet 3. This is sheet 3. OK. Opening windows for worksheets. You can display worksheets within a workbook as different windows to make it easier for you to compare data. That way, you can have more than one worksheet displayed at the same time. To do this, select the worksheet you want to view in a new window. Click the New Window button under the View tab. All right, so we have food cart sales here in this window. Now we can go to View, and we could open up a new window. And this is still the same worksheet, but we're going to have a different worksheet view showing here. So in this window, we're going to have sheet 4 showing, and in this window, we have sheet 1 visible to us. Now, it may look like we have, and this is interesting, it may look like we have two different worksheets open, but we are actually on the same file. Meaning, if I type something here on worksheet 4, even though we're in the same workbook, I just entered this into worksheet 4. If I came over here to my first window and went to sheet 4, I would see the exact same thing. In fact, if I start typing here, it's showing me in this window exactly what's being typed. So this could be confusing. You may think you have two documents open, but it's the same document with two different views. Very, very useful. Changes are made only to one document, and both views will show those changes made at the same time. Arranging windows. When you have multiple versions of one workbook open in several windows, each displaying different worksheets, you want to be able to arrange the windows so you can view them all at once. To do this, click the Arrange All button. So we can go into View, and we can go to Window, and we can say Arrange All. And it asks us, do we want them tiled, horizontal, vertical, cascading? And I think we want them tiled. So this would tile the windows. And what we can do is we can go to View. If we don't like that, we could say Arrange All and make them vertical. Or we could say Arrange All horizontal. Or we could say View, Arrange All, cascading, and so forth. Let me just put these back into our view. Oh, comparing worksheets side by side. To compare two worksheets side by side, click the View Side by Side button, which again is under the View tab here. Just can see this, and then we have a View Side by Side icon here. Instead of switching back and forth between workbooks, view them side by side. It makes comparing them easier, so we can do that. So clearly there's a lot of ways that you can view the same worksheet in different views within Excel 2013. Most of these features that you want to implement as far as viewing is under the View tab, which, let me just close one of these windows, which is here, and it's under the window group. And again, it would be New Window, side by side, and this sort of thing. It'd be under New Window, where you could create a new window, and then you can arrange them however you like. Now we want to go over moving worksheets to other workbooks. You can also move or copy one worksheet from one workbook to another workbook. To do this, open the workbook with the worksheet you want to move. Also, open the workbook that you want to use to add the worksheet. Now go to the workbook with the worksheet that you want to move. Click the worksheet so it's active. Right-click on the Sheet tab of the worksheet you want to move. Select Move or Copy from the menu. In the dialog box, select the name of the workbook you want to move the worksheet to. At this point, you can also select a new workbook to create a new workbook with the copied or moved worksheet. This is very easy to do. First of all, we have this workbook open. It's called Cart Revenue. And we're going to open up another workbook. So we're going to go under Open, select Open, and we're going to come over here and Monthly Expenses. Let's do that one as well. So now we have two workbooks open. This one is Monthly Expenses, and this one is Cart Revenue. Now, Monthly Expenses has only one worksheet. And let's say that we want to move, or actually, let's say we want to copy the food cart sales worksheet, worksheet 1 here. In fact, I'll just rename that to be food cart sales. So this has a worksheet called Food Cart Sales in Cart Revenue Workbook, and we want to copy that to Monthly Expenses Worksheet 2. And the way we do that is we right-click down here on this worksheet, and we select the option Move or Copy. And it's now going to ask us where to copy this. And it's saying move selected sheets to book, Cart Revenue, but that's not the book we want. We want to choose the other book that's open, Monthly Expenses. And it says, do you want it before what sheet? And we really want it to be to the end. Now we wanted to create a copy of this and not move it, so we're going to select Create a Copy. And we select OK. And if we look over to Monthly Expenses Workbook, all right, we now have a food cart sales worksheet along with sheet 1. So we have sheet 1, Monthly Expenses, and then sheet 2, which we've named Food Cart Sales. This was copied from our other workbook. And that's how you move or copy a worksheet from one workbook